I don't know why I'm thinking about that kid tonight. Maybe it's the way the highway looks when it's empty. Just black road and those white lines sliding under the headlight like they don't care where you're going. I'm older now. I ride alone most nights. The club's smaller, quieter. Some of the guys moved on. Some just stopped showing up. Tonight, I stopped at a gas station outside town. Cold air, fluorescent lights buzzing. And there he was, not the same kid, just a boy about that age, standing near the vending machine asking people if they had a few coins. Clean hoodie, nice sneakers, hair combed. He said, "Sir," when he spoke. That's what did it. It wasn't the begging. I've seen enough of that. It was the way he stood straight like he had been taught better. Like someone once cared how he looked in public. I gave him some cash, and he thanked me properly, looked me in the eye, and that eye contact pulled me back years. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. Not like this. Back then, I was leading the club, or at least pretending to. You think being president means you understand people. It doesn't. It just means they expect you to talk last. I remember that night clear. Same kind of road, same kind of cold. I stopped outside a diner and saw him sitting on the curb. Good jacket, clean jeans, shoes that cost more than mine probably. And he asked for food, not money. That was the first thing that made me pause. I almost walked past. I don't usually get involved in things that don't belong to me. But something about how careful he sounded when he spoke made me stay. I didn't know then that it would stretch into months of meetings, phone calls, arguments, and one friendship I never quite repaired. At the time, it felt small. Just a burger. Just a conversation. I keep telling myself that's all it was. But when the road gets quiet like this, I know that's not true. It was more than that. It just didn't look like it. Back then, it started simple. I bought him a meal, and we sat in a booth. He held the menu like he wasn't sure he deserved it. Said thank you too many times. Told me his parents had died the year before. Quel accident. He said it flat, like he'd repeated it 100 times. They left property in his name. A house, some land, money that was supposed to be for school. His aunt and uncle took him in. On paper, it looked right. Family helping family. But he said they controlled everything. He wasn't allowed to see bank papers. They'd tell him he was ungrateful when he asked questions. Sometimes they'd forget to cook for him. He laughed when he said that part, like it was normal. That laugh bothered me more than anything else. I didn't think they were monsters. I just thought maybe they were overwhelmed. Or maybe he was exaggerating. He was still a teenager. Teenagers and adults rarely hear each other properly. I told him I had a friend who was a lawyer. Good one. Not flashy. Just steady. We'd ridden together when we were younger. He owed me nothing, but he respected straight talk. I called him the next day. He agreed to meet the kid. No big plan. Not even sots. Just a look at the paperwork. The first meeting felt ordinary. My lawyer friend flipping through files. The kid sitting too stiff in the chair. My club guys outside, joking around. One of them kept checking his phone every few minutes. Another kept starting sentences like he had something important to say, but never finishing them. It didn't feel dramatic. It felt like paperwork. That's what I told myself. The lawyer said the will looked clean. The property really was in the boy's name. But guardianship gave the aunt and uncle control until he turned 18. Legal. Complicated. Not evil. Just complicated. We talked about options. Mediation. A formal request for financial transparency. I remember thinking it sounded boring. Safe. The kid nodded like he understood, but his jaw was tight. He didn't want mediation. He wanted someone to say they were wrong. We didn't see that clearly at the time. We thought we were helping by being calm. Looking back, that's where something started to bend. Not break, just bend. The aunt and uncle were contacted. They came to one meeting. They looked tired. defensive. The uncle kept interrupting. The aunt barely spoke. They said they were protecting him from himself, that he was emotional, that he didn't understand taxes, repairs, legal fees. Maybe they were right about some of it. Maybe they weren't. No one shouted. No one threatened. But when we left that office, I felt something was slightly off. Not dangerous, just off. Like everyone was talking, but nobody was really answering the same question. The shift didn't happen because of some big reveal. It happened because we all started assuming things. The kid assumed delay meant betrayal. My lawyer assumed patience meant maturity. I assumed my presence alone would keep things balanced. That was pride talking. One afternoon, the kid showed up at the clubhouse without calling first. Said his uncle had sold a small piece of land to cover expenses. He was angry. Said no one told him. My lawyer hadn't returned his call yet. It had only been a day, but to him it felt like proof. I told him to slow down. He took that as me choosing their side. I didn't mean it that way. I just didn't want things escalating. One of the guys in the club muttered that family matters should stay family matters. He always avoided conflict, hated tension. Another guy said we should push harder legally. He liked feeling involved. My lawyer finally called back that evening. Said the sale was legal under guardianship rules, but it should have been explained better. He wanted to request detailed accounting records. Calm steps. The kid didn't want calm steps anymore. He wanted someone to say, "They're using you." And none of us said it, because we didn't know if it was fully true. Meetings got shorter. People started leaving early. The aunt stopped attending in person and sent documents instead. The uncle grew colder. My lawyer got quieter. He hated being pressured. I remember one phone call where he told me, "You can't fix family history with engine noise." I laughed at the time. Didn't understand what he meant. The kid began staying away from us too. He thought we were slowing things down on purpose. Maybe we were. Not because we didn't care. Because we didn't want to be wrong. That's the part one see now. Everyone was protecting their pride. The aunt and uncle protecting their authority. The kid protecting his sense of being wronged. My lawyer protecting his professional distance. Me protecting the idea that I could step into a mess and make it straighten out just by standing there. No one lied. No secret crimes came out. Just paperwork, tension, and silence growing wider between people who might have handled it better if they had just said what they were actually afraid of. What actually hurt wasn't the property or the money. It was the quiet way things ended. The legal process dragged on until the boy turned 18. By then, most of the assets were accounted for. Some money gone to expenses, some saved. Nothing dramatic. Nothing criminal enough to explode in a courtroom. The judge wasn't corrupt, just formal. Followed procedure. My lawyer did his job. Steady, careful. In the end, the kid gained full control like the law said he would. But he didn't come back to thank anyone. He didn't have to. I heard later he sold the house and moved away for school. Maybe that was always the plan. The real loss was smaller and closer. My lawyer and I stopped writing together after that year. Not because we fought. We didn't. We just talked less. He felt I had pushed him to move faster than the law allowed. I felt he hid behind rules when a kid needed reassurance. Neither of us said that out loud. One of the club members left around the same time. Said the atmosphere felt heavy. Maybe he was right. Sometimes helping someone shows you where your limits are. And sometimes you don't like what you see. I think about that kid's face in the diner. How polite he was. How careful. I still don't know if we helped him the right way. Maybe calm was the best thing we could offer. Maybe what he needed was someone to sit with him and say, "Yeah, this is confusing and it hurts." Instead, we gave him strategy. Meetings. Documents. I'm not sure that's what he was asking for. Tonight on this road, I keep wondering if one honest question could have changed everything. If I had asked my lawyer, "Are you uncomfortable with this?" or asked the kid, "What are you really scared of?" maybe things would have stayed the same. Maybe not. Life moved on. The club survived. The case is closed. But sometimes when I see a well-dressed kid asking for food, I remember how easy it is to mistake silence for strength. And I still don't know if I did the right thing. I tell myself I did. Most days I believe it. Just not on nights like this.